here. So, Native American Council, are you present?
Yes.
Excellent. Ranchers and Cowhands Association?
Here.
Excellent. Homesteaders United? Excellent. Farmers and Populist Party? Excellent. And the Miners Association? All members of the Governing Council are present? Okay. As you see on your agenda, Native American Council, you will present first. You all will come to the podium. You will get your 1-minute warning and 20-second wrap it up warning. So let me give the Native Americans first, please. All right, let me get order in the hall, please. The floor now belongs to the Native American Council. The Native American Council has the floor. Time begins when you do.
We Native Americans have lived, hunted, and farmed this land before anyone else was here. We were born in these plains, and this is where we learned all our customs and traditions.
We Native Americans leave the land from 1964 to work on farm and support the farm. We Native Americans, we were here first. The Americans took our land in 1834 when the federal government passed the act forcing us to a specific reservation away from home. It wasn't as bad compared to what they did later with the Dawes Act, as Congress attempted to Americanize us and sell the remainder of our reservation. In the end, the money never got to us.
We Native Americans have suffered from a lot of massacres for no reason. The Americans would come to our land and basically take away all our weapons and kill all of us, including women, children, and just young people in general.
I'm Chief of the Cheyenne tribe. However, I am here to speak on behalf of the land you pale faces call the Great Plains. This land you call America has been home to our people and our ancestors for many years. Centuries worth of our ancestors' footprints have walked this very country we now call home. We have completely disrespected our entire way of being. Over greed, proudly come here to escape your troubles over the Great Lake, which you understand, which we always have understood and which we still do. You have come here with your flags and your strange tools to harm this very land. You constantly fight over it and disagree over how much you get and how much money you'll make over it. And you're completely forgetting that we were here first.
1-minute warning.
And when we try to fight you back, you kill us. When we do nothing, you kill us. When you put us on reservations and take us away from the land, we'll always come home. In 1834, your government passed the act which gave the entire Great Plains to us. And now you completely ignore what your government has done. Yes. You came, your country is founded on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All we're asking is that you give us the same thing, and do not make us human targets like the redcoats made you.
20 seconds for any final statement.
Who are here first?
And I think we deserve this land more than anyone else.
Why?
Because we were here first. Oh, really? WP first.
That don't mean anything.
Because all you guys came as immigrants to our land.
All right. Government, please take this time to make whatever notes you need to make. All right. The Ranchers and Cowhands Association now has the floor. Lady and gentlemen, your time begins when you do.
Alright. I just want to start by saying that this economy is terrible, and the only way to bring it up is to get more people throughout the frontier and to get more sales going. So the ranchers would like to make use of the land by adding an additional railroad so that ranchers wouldn't have to make the long, dangerous journey they do yearly. This would increase traveling for any settler and would boost the economy because of increased trade and travel. Because we're moving across cows and we're moving across people, through the spare land.
We deserve the land because the cow will not have 3 months on the cattle drive, and they are on the saddle from dawn to dusk. They sleep on the ground and bathe in the rivers. They lost cattle and especially our rivers crossing, where cattle often has where cattle are visited and were swept away. It was one cowboy for every 300 cattle.
As the great herds of buffalo disappeared and the Native Americans were forced into smaller, less desirable reservations, horses and cattle thrived through the Great Plains. So they opened up ranches and were taught by our Mexican neighbors how to gather the cattle and use crops and
1 minute remaining.
they go out in herds, and we get our money by taking 250 heads of cows, and how much we get back to where it's supposed to be if we get that much money.
What I plan to say during the town hall meeting is that cowboys have to worry constantly about losing cattle, and this is the first way to fix it. A railroad instead.
Any final words?
Just say that it's in that ranchers in Callahan took the land the most because where Jesus was.
Sorry, honey. Your minutes are up. Council, take this time to make whatever notes you need to make for yourself. Thank you very much. The town hall will now recognize the Homesteaders United. Homesteaders United. Homesteaders United, you have the floor. Time will start when you do.
Hello, we are the homesteaders and the settlers. We are from Kansas. We consist of several thousand exodusters. Exodusters are African Americans who moved from the post-Reconstruction South to Kansas. We have cattlemen who fence open lands, while miners and woodcutters claim national resources. We are here today to prove why we should get parcel number 9124.
We will use the land for many different reasons. We have actually been able to make ours by stating facts and lands itself. We can also make hospitals and on the land because we have yes. Indoctrine from block and land itself. We also can make snap sites and curse limbs and cure limbs.
Women, settlers, sponsor schools, and churches should be a key aspect to our community. We will use this land
subcrops.
We deserve the land because we have faced extreme hardships such as droughts, floods, fires, blizzards, locusts, plagues, and occasional raids by outlaws and Native Americans.
This number of people living west of Mississippi River were primarily of nations population in 1350 to almost 30%. We need the land to grow food and raise our own family.
Hey, good job. Any last statements that you guys would like to make? 20 seconds.
We can build our own houses and like again provide more grain, and also we can take care of farming.
Okay, thank you very much. Government, please take this time to consider your notes. Farmer Populist Party, you now have the floor. Just think cool thoughts, guys.
That smile.
Time begins when you do.
We're the farmers / populists, and I think we deserve this more than anyone else of you guys here. I mean, railroads took advantage of us and charging us overpriced for shipping and storage. And the more crops we could produce, the more food you can all get. And the more land, the more we could produce. And for this money, we could use it for our farms, animals, sheds. This is all coming back to you guys. Without us, then what do you guys have to live for?
We couldn't do a thing about it. The railroad taking advantage of us. The troubles affecting us, farmers, affected the entire nation as well.
Machinery was expensive, and we often had to borrow money from the bank to produce more crops for you guys.
More for less. If we make more than needed, we won't really need the extra products. Therefore, we can sell more for less and make more profit.
We are populists. Our populist movement has resulted in us wanting a change. We want an increase in money supply. We would want a graduated increase in income tax, federal loans for our farming, because it is extremely hard for us to gain money with the little land that we have. If we have the land that you guys give us, it'll be way more easier for us to make money, and then for us to keep producing crops and continue that cycle.
So, like, miners, all they do is just like get sick and then they just spread diseases. Ranchers, no one cares about your cows. Wholesalers, grain, we provide grain, and we're just overspending just to transport. And I love food, we love food. With no land, there's no food. That's it.
We did not spread
Only 45 seconds.
Farming is hard, guys, okay? Farming is so difficult, okay? We just need you guys' help. Just help us out, please.
Native Americans, they go through massacres and they just die.
Come on, man.
The land
20
you're giving-
seconds
you
for
need
your
food to live,
final
man.
thought.
The land you're giving to them, it's just gonna go to waste. They're just gonna die and die.
Food is life.
Like, food is life.
I'm sorry.
They're just gonna die.
Yes, we can.
We love you, government. They really love you. We do.
It's your fault that we're dying. It's your fault.
Miners Association, the time begins when you do.
Okay, so
us miners are looking for gold to become rich, but we all know that it's a very small percentage. Out of 4,000 of us, 200 only get struck rich. Now, if we receive this land, we can provide money to the government, and we can okay. Miners risk our lives by diving into caves and temperatures that rose up to 160 degrees. We have cave-ins and explosions. Instead of the farmers, we risk our lives every day. No, your work is difficult, okay. Miners would find easier ways of obtaining gold, as panning, and panning, which is using a flat pan and swirling. By finding gold, our government keeps circulating.
Everyone here needs money. And the economy we all depend on is bound by the money that is regulated by the gold that we mine. We will use the land to mine the gold you all need to survive and create boomtowns that will provide jobs and stimulate the economy.
We will use the land for mining and getting more boomtowns, so we can stimulate the economy. We can also mine our minerals for the government to get money for renting.
I represent the lands because during our mining trip we had a bunch of cave-ins and coal dust could give us the black lung, and the pressures in the cave could cause explosions, and there was also high temperatures in there which would make it really hot to be in there. And then out of the 100,000 people who wanted to mine there, only 40,000 made it out, 20,000 staked claims, 4,000 found gold, and only 200 came out. And miners would also go 2,000 feet deep, and the water down there was 160 degrees, which would cause serious injuries and death.
40 seconds.
As my fellow miners said, we work very hard for the gold, and we also work in harsh conditions. We work in caves that get as hot as 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and when the caves will collapse, we would be trapped in there for hours,
20
and
seconds.
maybe even days. So that's why we deserve for that.
All right, check this out. All right, the soil is made to make crops, right? Don't you need money to make crops? You need money to buy all the supplies, the seeds, the whatever you need. So that is what we do. We stay in, what did you say? How 160. No, let me finish. They take up like all the time.
Maybe the government will have a question for you guys after.
You guys have questions?
Not after.
Oh.
I can see that. At this time, I would like to ask the government council to step outside and decide if there are any other groups that you need to hear from again, if you have any follow-up questions. So step outside and decide if there are any groups that you need to hear from again. Can you focus, please? Go, sit. No, go, sit.
We want to hear again from the Native Americans, the farmers, and the miners.
For the Native Americans, can you guys send two representatives and bring your name tag?
Yeah.
Please.
Native Americans, send two representatives up to the podium. Farmers, send two representatives up to the podium. Take your name pen. Miners, send two representatives up to the podium. Take your name pen. I'm sure you guys might want to send Angelica.
Oh, right now?
Right now. All right. For this portion, it will be relegated to 4 minutes. So government, you need to moderate this. So you will decide which group you want to speak to first, and recognize that you only have 4 minutes to hear from all 3 groups. So cut them off when you feel like you've heard enough, and then move on to the next group. Time starts now.
What can you do for us? I understand that you could provide for your family, but what can you do?
Who? What group are we speaking
Can you
to?
talk to the Native Americans?
Thank you.
We shouldn't have to do anything for you because we were here first. Honestly.
Yeah, like you guys just want to come in and take care of
You have to do
everything.
for us because you killed all our kids and women.
We fought for this land.
Fought for the land, but
You
in
didn't
general,
fight-
this was our land first.
You killed us for the land.
You want it?
We
We want it
We
too.
fought for it. You guys didn't fight for it.
You fought for the little colonies that you had on the East Coast.
Yeah, 13 colonies. I mean, westward is our land. It's not your land.
I see you guys' point. Thank you. Can we see the farmers next?
I apologize to everyone.
We don't know who you are because you don't have a name tag up there.
What do you guys make then?
Oh, points off, points off, points off.
That's not facing
I like
us.
this. I like it.
Many farmers were
Wait.
trapped.
Okay. Question. Okay, what can you guys do to
Help
the
us.
railroaders won't take advantage of this?
What can we do?
Yeah.
We could use more land to distribute the crops. Well, I mean,
Because if we give you more land, then more railroaders would take advantage.
well, you guys will go through food shortage. Food shortage, because we can't distribute all the food we have in the crops if we're having expenses. We're probably losing more money and gaining money from growing crops in our farms.
Or if you can give us loans, we could pay back those loans with the money you give us, which can also afford for the railroad companies. We can pay them and make more money off of that too.
All right. Thank you. And you see the line?
1 minute remaining.
Okay, I have something to say.
Okay.
Everybody wants to borrow money off of you guys. We don't need to do that. We provide our own money with the gold, minerals, silver that we find. We could help everybody get money by the gold that we find.
We can even give money to the government.
And to point out that more people died in the
30
mines
seconds.
than people died in the Indian War. We're putting our lives out there trying to find gold and trying to make the country United Nations. Isn't it United Nations?
Not till later.
Oh. Just everybody works.
10 seconds.
The roads to righteousness.
We put our lives on the line and work so hard for what we do, so we deserve life.
All right. Government, please take this time to step outside and deliberate. You have 8 minutes. Oh, and it must be unanimous. Alright. Order, please. The council now has the floor. If you're talking, you shouldn't be. It's not too late for me to dock points off.
Thank you, everyone, for the great presentation. But the winner is we give the lands to the farmers.
Because they were taken advantage of and they'll supply us with more.
Okay, and then if we give them the land, they'll produce more and it'll help us in our economy, and it'll help the people as well in the city.
They were taken advantage of, and if we give them the land, they can build more crops, make more crops. Machinery is expensive, so they sell more. They can make more profit and build more machinery.
So the Native Americans were not respectful at all, and the miners, I saw them like they have to do their jobs. Like these are their jobs. and they didn't tell us why do they need the land for.
Okay, so the miners, like it's
Okay,
not
the miners, you guys-
100%.
you
that
can use the land
you
for
guys
anything.
are gonna find gold in that land. Like it's not 100%, but it's like for sure that they're gonna grow their crops.
That is not for sure. Because anything can happen. What if there's like a drought? There's no water, or the soil's dry.
All right, council, your decision stands. Parcel number 9124 is being awarded to the farmers. Farmers, I hope that you made good on the promises that you made in this presentation. This brings an end to the Frontier Town Hall meeting. Thank you all very much.